Have you ever felt like something inside you shifted, but you couldn't point to a single moment when it happened? Nothing dramatic, no sudden revelation, just a quiet sense that the way you see life is no longer the same. Things that once motivated you don't carry the same weight. Conversations you used to enjoy now feel shallow, and moments of silence feel louder than noise ever did. You're not broken, you're not lost, and you're not imagining it. Many people describe this experience as a spiritual awakening, but the truth is, most explanations only make it more confusing than it needs to be. So let's slow this down and simplify it. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something. If this topic is already resonating with you, take a moment and leave a word in the comments. It can be aware, curious, awakening, or any word that feels right to you. This helps create a shared space for people walking a similar path. Now, let's continue. Spiritual awakening is not about becoming special or superior. It's not about gaining supernatural abilities, seeing visions, or escaping your everyday life. And it's definitely not about rejecting logic, science, or reality. At its core, spiritual awakening is a shift in awareness. It's the moment you begin to notice your inner world instead of being unconsciously driven by it. You start observing your thoughts rather than automatically believing them. You still feel emotions, but you're no longer completely consumed by them. There is a growing sense that something inside you is watching everything happen. Before this shift, most people live on autopilot. They wake up, react to life, chase goals they never questioned, and repeat emotional patterns they don't fully understand. Thoughts arise, emotions follow, and actions happen almost automatically. There is very little space between stimulus and response. But when awakening begins, something subtle changes. There is a pause, a small but powerful space between what happens and how you respond. You still experience stress, you still feel fear, anger, joy, and desire. But now, awareness is present while those experiences unfold, and that awareness changes everything. You begin to notice patterns you were blind to before. Emotional triggers start making sense. Repetitive situations reveal their deeper meaning. You start seeing why the same types of relationships keep appearing in different forms. Why external achievements never bring lasting fulfillment. This doesn't happen because something is wrong with you. It happens because you're becoming conscious of how your mind actually works. One important thing to understand is that spiritual awakening rarely begins from curiosity alone. More often, it's triggered by life itself. Sometimes it comes through pain, a breakup that forces you inward, a loss that shakes your sense of control, burnout that exposes how disconnected you've become from yourself. Other times, it arrives quietly, a subtle emptiness, even when life looks successful on the outside, a feeling that something essential is missing. A persistent question begins to surface. Is this really all there is? And once that question appears, it doesn't go away easily. This is where many people feel confused. They expect awakening to feel peaceful and uplifting from the start, but the early stages often feel uncomfortable, disorienting, and even lonely. Old beliefs begin to collapse. Goals you chased for years suddenly feel hollow. Motivations that once drove you no longer have the same power. You may feel disconnected from people who once felt familiar, not because they're wrong, but because you're no longer the same version of yourself. This doesn't mean you should isolate yourself or reject your past. It simply means your internal reference point is changing. You're no longer living purely from conditioning. You're beginning to live from awareness. Another common misunderstanding is the belief that awakening is a permanent state. It's not. Spiritual awakening is a process, not a finish line. Awareness comes in layers, not all at once. Moments of clarity are often followed by moments of doubt. Periods of insight may be followed by confusion. This doesn't mean you're going backward. It means you're integrating what you're becoming aware of. In fact, many people experience what feels like regression after initial awakening. Old fears resurfaced. Ego patterns become louder. Emotions may feel more intense than before. This happens because awareness brings unresolved material to the surface, not to punish you, but to be understood, processed, and released. Here is a key point that often gets overlooked. Spiritual awakening does not remove the ego. Instead, it changes your relationship with it. The ego is not your enemy. It is a mental structure designed to protect you, help you navigate the world, and maintain a sense of identity. The problem only arises when you believe you are the ego. When every thought feels personal and every emotion feels permanent, awakening creates distance between who you are and what your mind produces. Thoughts still arise, but they no longer define you. Emotions still pass through you, but they no longer control you. You begin to see suffering more clearly. You realize that much of it didn't come from life itself, but from unconscious identification with thoughts and internal stories. This realization is subtle, but deeply liberating. Another misconception is that awakening makes life easier. In the long term, it often does, but in the beginning, it can feel heavier. You become more sensitive, not weaker, but more aware. You can no longer distract yourself as easily. You see through patterns that once kept you comfortable. You may find it harder to tolerate dishonesty, both from others and from yourself. Harder to ignore misalignment. Harder to chase things that no longer resonate. This is not a flaw. It's alignment correcting itself. What truly defines spiritual awakening is this. It is not about escaping the world. It is about engaging with life consciously, fully, honestly. You still work, you still build, you still plan for the future. But now, your actions come from choice instead of compulsion, from clarity instead of fear. You respond instead of react. You listen instead of assume. You question beliefs you inherited but never examined. You begin to notice how often the mind lives in the past or future, and how rare true presence really is. Presence becomes less of an idea and more of an experience, not constant, but accessible. You also start to understand that awakening is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering what was always there beneath the noise. The awareness watching your thoughts, the stillness behind emotion, the part of you that remains unchanged. If you're wondering whether you're going through a spiritual awakening, don't search for labels. Look inward, notice your patterns, observe your reactions. Are you becoming more aware of your inner world? Are you less attached to identities that once defined you? Are you more interested in truth and comfort? That's where awakening actually begins. Not in mysticism, not in performance, not in trying to appear spiritual, but in honesty, in awareness, in the willingness to see yourself clearly. If this video helped you understand this process more clearly, take a moment to support the channel. Liking the video and subscribing helps this message reach more people and allows us to keep creating content like this. It may seem small, but it truly makes a difference. This is Mindful Elevation and Beyond, and this is only the beginning.